Welcome to season
The
two.
second
episode. No, not
Number
episode. Season.
season
Small Life.
season 2 episode 1.
Yeah.
That's what you
season
want
two,
to
episode
say, right?
one.
Yeah.
So, how is everyone today? This beautiful
It's
day.
a beautiful morning, early in the morning.
Yeah, early in the morning.
Not usual for me though. That's so.
I actually bought a guitar yesterday, so I would actually kind of practice. So
Oh.
I'm gonna be a
Did you get
musician.
enough sleep though?
Me?
Yep.
I think I got like 6-7 hours, and that's fine. I'm all right.
Really? Cause me usually right now I get like 6 hours of sleep only. Like I think all my other friends are getting more sleep so they can focus on their days more. But like for me, I usually wake up at like 7 every morning. Sometimes at 6 every morning as well. And I sleep pretty late.
Okay.
What type of guitar is it? Just like a, normal.
Acoustic guitar, so it's just like a guitar that everyone would think of if you think of guitar.
I see.
No,
Not like
it's
an
just
electric one.
yeah, not electric or like
Why? Why'd you
not
get one?
because I just really wanted to play guitar
Why?
because
Because
I
of-
like music. Because I like music. And,
Why not like
you know?
piano or
Oh yeah,
why guitar?
because guitar seems cool. Piano, I mean, okay, I could go with piano, but I don't know.
Dude,
guitar-
I completely understand that. Like, I think at the start of this year, I was planning to start playing an instrument again, and then the first thing that popped up was a guitar.
Yeah,
Because I just
exactly.
felt like it was so cool, right?
Yeah, guitar's so cool. Like, think about it. Like, you hanging around and like, okay, your legs crossed, and you're just playing guitar, and that's
Yeah,
pretty
in
cool.
front of your
But if you want to
crush.
play a piano, you have to get on scene somewhere that there is a piano in the first place, right? Which is not
Mhm.
cool
Mm,
already.
Right.
You know?
But the thing is, it takes so much time to learn an instrument. Like this summer, I've just been strained on time, I feel like. Like, do you guys have the same feeling? Like you don't have enough time to do what you want this summer?
Honestly, since I have a really short summer break, like I have a month. So, I mean, I do feel like
yeah,
I have
of course.
I'm a very, I have a very short time. So, yeah.
Yeah, even
How
though
about you, John?
for us, even though it's like almost 2.5 months, but it's pretty short and for me because yeah, it's still pretty short because there's so many things you can do or you should
Yeah.
do.
So honestly,
Yeah.
you kind of need a 3-year break, I guess.
Ah.
Three-
Like 3 years. So you guys, I mean, 2.5 months. That's actually
Yeah.
pretty damn long.
Yeah, it is long. Yeah,
I mean, and if
it might be
like
perfect. I
you
don't
got
know.
so many things to do, right? You got so many things to do, so many things you
Yeah,
want,
yeah, that's why.
and you probably need like years of break to accomplish every of those.
Yeah,
which,
maybe.
Yeah, so I think 2.5 months is fine, totally fine. I think
Yeah.
that's the best that school can give to you because you have to do the schoolworks and all that,
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think the big problem with me and the school break is like I always feel like I'm not doing enough. Like whenever I compare myself to other people in their summers, like I ask people what they're doing. They're either like bettering themselves in a sport, instrument, or they're practicing on their SATs. And sometimes it's sort of like motivation for you as well to get your act
Yeah.
together and just have a more productive summer as well. But what do you guys think about it? Do you think summer should just be restful and just fun, or think you should actually work?
I mean, I usually have fun in the break because it's called a break, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
And I usually rest and play around and just do what I want. But it's nothing bad with being productive, right? But I don't think you should compare
Yeah,
to
exactly.
people yearly by year. You know what I mean? Like year by year. Like, okay, this guy did that much in a year. This guy did that much in a year. I mean, okay, that kind of doesn't make any sense in the first place because it's just a year. You could do more in the next year, right? So,
For sure.
I mean, getting those motivations is pretty good, but I don't want people to get too obsessed with how much they do and they
Yeah,
kind of
that's
beat up
fair.
themselves with all those hard working that they think that they need to do, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Fair point.
Yeah, like
How about you?
the only person you should compare yourself with is yourself.
Oh, oh,
Oh,
oh,
she.
oh,
Yeah.
No, but
oh.
that's one of the recurring topics in our podcast. I remember like
Yeah.
ever since the start, this would always be a topic that we'd hammer our episodes with, usually. But I think that it stands the test of time because like whatever topic we talk about, like even in the past seasons, like we talked about, for example, perfectionism or loneliness or relationships or all these topics, it's still the same notion of like you have your own set of problems and the
Yeah.
only person you can compare yourself to is yourself, so I think the way the episodes were structured were really centered around this idea. I don't know about you
I
guys.
mean, I mean, yeah, I do believe that this was centered because our podcast is mainly about self improvement, right? So hence
Right.
we talk about self, you
Exactly.
know,
We don't include
obviously.
other people.
Yeah.
Like
So
we don't compare with
obviously,
them.
yeah.
We're
So
so narcissistic, man,
Maybe in a sense.
maybe.
in
Yeah.
a sense.
Actually, guys, Johnny got a brain freeze in the middle, so we couldn't do anything about it. So we got some awkward pause. So we're just gonna start from now on. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just yeah, I'm trying to get used to this new type of format.
right.
My brain is like not used to it
Let's introduce everyone to the new format. I'm not sure if you guys noticed this, but last season our podcasts were very structured and they all had singular themes to the episodes, and we sort of felt like we wanted to loosen it up a bit and make it more organic. So what we started doing this episode was instead of sticking to one topic, we we'd keep it more organic and just talk about
Some fun
anything we
themes.
want, of course related to our lives, maybe self-improvement. But let us know as well, guys, if you like this new format of our episode.
Mm.
Anyways, I'd like to ask, what are your guys' reactions to, 2 seasons of Small Eyes Big Dreams? Like, what are your plans for this podcast? And do you think our viewers should start their own podcasts?
I mean, starting a podcast is really fun, is real good, but I mean, it's not that easy though.
Yeah,
Doing all
yeah,
that. It's not that easy. You just can't, walk up in front of your computer or laptop, whatever, and you don't, you know what? I'm just gonna start a podcast and do all that because we did actually a lot of stuff. I think we made huge progress. I didn't think that we would make it this far in the first place. You know, I didn't thought we're gonna get microphones. I didn't thought we're gonna make some sort of link tree so we get all the links to our YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever. I think we
interesting.
made a big
Yeah,
progress
I would think the
compared to the
same.
beginning.
Like I'll tell them to, yeah, go ahead, make a
Yeah,
podcast
go
if you
ahead.
want, make something if you want, but it's not guaranteed that you're gonna do
Yeah,
well or you're even gonna make videos.
Oh yeah,
for sure, for
that's the
sure.
part. We really I do believe we really need discipline when we make podcast films, right?
Mm,
Yeah,
And sometimes people just lack off, like sleep over the time.
mm, mm,
Some idiots do that, but you
yeah,
know,
are you
yeah,
yeah,
talking about yourself, Steve?
maybe not.
but but you got your friends, right? The ones you film the podcast with,
Mm,
they
Mhm.
kind of encourage you, and you get
Right.
that
for
Yeah.
sure.
And then,
I
that's real
think
good.
I think if you're doing a podcast or any sort of project, like maybe
Yeah,
account with your friends, you
uh
guys all need to participate on some level. It can't only be one person, doing it, and that just takes away from the whole purpose of it. And whatever creative project you're in, think about the fun of it instead of what you're going to get from the podcast, because at first when we started our podcast, I think college was a topic that got brought up, like
mm,
putting this on our college resume would really fit, and we'd really benefit from it. But as time went by, we just naturally just enjoyed the podcast, and I think that's what keeps projects running, your
I mean,
enjoyment with people.
but did that went like that? I don't know. Like, didn't it start like, hey, let's do this. It kind of be fun, and later on, oh, you know
That
what?
too, that
Like,
too.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it was
I
more
I,
like,
I
you
think
know
it's a
what? This
mix.
could help the college resume. It wasn't the
No.
purpose. It
there's
wasn't
Right,
the
there's
right,
purpose.
right,
there's so many
College
other
resume,
things you can
yeah,
do.
college resume
right.
wasn't purpose. It was more of like, let's have fun. Three of us, we were doing something
Yeah.
Yeah.
before book reading session, so we should kind of extend our, regular meeting, I guess. So we started a podcast, and we thought it would be fun. And I was like,
Oh
you
yeah,
know what?
for
This could
sure, for
help our
sure.
college
Yeah,
resume.
like
So
it's even better if we can't even put in the resume, but it doesn't matter if
yeah,
we
it
don't if
doesn't
we
matter if
can't.
we don't. Yeah.
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 Yeah, something
I
like that.
mean, Steve, you said something about reading sessions a while ago, right? You
Yeah,
mentioned
yeah,
something really quick about reading sessions.
yeah.
Do you want to explain what the
Uh,
reading sessions were,
so
or
re-
should I or Johnny do it?
okay,
I should
I'll do it.
explain maybe.
Okay, okay,
Okay,
you
okay.
can go. You
Let
can
Johnny.
go.
uh, the origin of our reading session was me and Steve were in a call, I believe,
Yeah.
and I was I always had this idea that it would be nice if we had a reading session so that we can read every time, like schedulely in a schedule. And then Steve was like, "Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, we should do it. Like we should do it." But for me, in my opinion, it was just an idea. I never actually thought of pursuing it. But then Steve was like, "Oh, that's a very good idea." And then somebody invited Gerrard, and
Huh?
yeah, I
Somebody?
don't know
You guys don't
how.
Buddy,
remember who?
I mean, I guess it
I
should be me or you,
Yeah,
but okay.
not sure how we invited Gerard, but yeah, maybe it was me, I
Breaks my
think.
heart.
Yeah, maybe it was
But
you.
then we weren't like discussing who should we invite. It was just like right away. That's natural. And so
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't even know how. I thought Ding was started. I thought Ding was there from the beginning. I never thought Ding just joined in.
Mm.
And
yeah, it isn't like we were choosing one. It is just
yeah.
yeah,
Actually, my thoughts of how this group formed was before. You guys remember when we did weekly workouts together?
yeah.
Oh
I think
yes. Oh yeah,
right,
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. Right,
I
right.
think somewhere around that time, like I clearly remember it. It was like December of 2020. It was like gonna go to 2021. It was like New Year's Eve. And then I think we decided to do some sort of reading session where every week we'd get together as a group and then
Mhm.
read self-improvement
I
books.
guess
And
we.
Mhm.
So I guess me and Johnny talked about this and brought it up to you, so we could all do it together or something, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
maybe.
Yeah.
Honestly, the idea sounds a bit lame, but it actually worked, right? Like
I mean,
we
yeah,
we want like 30 minutes of our time,
read.
to reading these self-improvement books, and then afterwards we'd a little bit of time to discuss it between us. And it kept us accountable, and it also fueled us, for more knowledge. So, that eventually developed into a podcast, right? Like
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think.
that is
in
like
between.
the one of the things that helped us be interested in self-improvement.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't all self-improvement book, but it was sort of self-improvement book, like
Right.
mainly.
Yeah.
Like because Johnny once read a book about some mathematics with what money.
Yeah.
No, it was about
What was
business, the
it?
first ever book. It was about
Yeah.
entrepreneurs and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, yeah.
Mostly what caught our eyes were self-improvement books, but honestly, I think that like reading too many self-improvement books in an aspect or reading too many books of a genre can really cloud your vision because like um I know some people who take self-improvement like as their entire life, and then
Mm.
uh a common like a common notion in self-improvement is you should never give up, right? But that idea is so broad, and it's so hard to make exceptions for it. So some people live by that, and then for example like if you never give up, for example, it could cause imbalances in your life. Like what if you have an abusive relationship, or like
Mm,
you just hate your job, but the self-improvement books told me to never give up. So
yeah, yeah.
what's the
Yeah.
point of giving up,
I
right?
mean,
That's
There
something.
are all these nuances, right? And you have to clearly explain them.
uh, and for me, honestly,
Mm,
these days people really can easily get over flooded with all those knowledge. But what I think,
Right.
what I really think is important about knowledge is you need knowledge that you could act out, not just knowledge is by itself. Because there's, honestly, these days it's so easy to gain knowledge.
yeah,
You got so many
anybody can.
sources, right? You got
Yeah.
so many sources. You don't need to pay or what. Like, okay, you could get better education by paying more, but you could already get some sort of education with not even paying, right? You
Yeah.
got all that
Yeah,
in the internet and
you have
all
the
that.
internet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but that's why it's more important to have the knowledge that you could act out, not just knowledge, because it's really
Mm,
easy to gain knowledge, but not the knowledge that you could act out. Like people don't act out the knowledges they have.
Right.
People
Exactly.
yeah.
And
treat them
and
as knowledges.
I
go ahead,
wanna
John.
I wanna make 2 points, from one from Steve's point and then, one from Gerard's. First off, for Steve's, you said that we gotta act out the knowledge, right? And one of the
Yeah,
books, I believe it's Think and Grow Rich,
Mhm.
and it says, there's a famous phrase of knowledge is power, but then it
Yeah.
disagrees on that phrase, that knowledge is
Knowledge.
power. And in fact,
Mm.
the world doesn't reward you on what type of knowledge you have or how much knowledge you
Mm.
have. They reward you on how much action you do with that knowledge.
With
Right.
yeah,
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 they
exactly.
reward with that action, not with the knowledge. That's why knowledge isn't power. Knowledge is only a power when you actually act out. Yeah, so I really agree on that,
Right,
Steve.
right. I think I used this analogy before when thinking of self-improvement. Like
Mm,
I think it was in one of our recent episodes, I forgot which one, but I
mm,
said if all you do is read self-improvement books, listen to self-improvement podcasts like ours, or like, this is all you do, and then you get a false sense of commitment and productivity out of it, then you're not really gaining anything. It's sort of like you're a knight in a war, but the entire time you're not fighting in the war, you're sharpening and polishing your sword. And then by the end of the war, you come out with your polished sword, everyone's dead. That it's sort of like that if all you focus on is knowledge. Like you learn, you learn, you learn, and then you don't apply anything.
Yeah,
What's the point?
I know,
yeah.
right?
Um,
Mm.
I I said I had 2 points, one from each one of you
Mine,
guys,
one
but
from
then
you.
I forgot what I was gonna say about Gerard.
Oh, the second point. You forgot the
Yeah,
second
yeah.
point.
The
Yeah,
second
I
okay,
point
hate
was
okay,
that feeling,
quite more
man.
important, but I forgot. My
Right.
bad.
okay.
Dude, every time I forget stuff, like just like short memory forgetfulness, I always think that I have like early onset Alzheimer's or some shit, man.
I
It's
mean, but
it's like
that's
right.
something innate, right?
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
really?
yeah.
Yeah. So if you forget a lot of things in a short term, that's kind of something innate. So you're born with it. You can't really do anything about it. Like the best you can
Mm,
do is like, bring a sticky note next to you and say or write something down if you really have to remember something. Yeah, that's the best you can do actually.
you know,
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
go ahead.
for me, honestly, I think, I had this, accident where, uh, I had to, be hospitalized
Be
for around
hospitalized.
2 months. Yeah,
2 months.
and had
Okay, okay.
needed two surgeries, and
Mhm.
because of those surgeries, I feel like my memory like went down, like
Really?
my short term memories and stuff.
Was it a brain surgery?
No, it wasn't a brain surgery, but with all those, the medicines and stuff that makes you
Oh,
sleepy, before the surgery and during the, hospitalization. Station, I don't know.
Really?
And so yeah, because of those surgeries, I feel like I can't remember that much.
so
Uh,
now you feel like a dummy dumb after the surgery.
uh, no, but then yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I feel like it.
Mm,
Yeah,
Like the anesthesia
yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
mm.
just destroyed your
But
memory,
then
for example.
But then I think that time honestly helped me a lot too at the same time, because that is the first ever time where I got into self-improvement with
Oh,
the book
really?
of Rich
Rich
Dad
Dad,
Poor
Poor
Dad.
Dad?
Yeah, I'd listen to
Yeah,
the audiobook because I had nothing to do because I
I
was
clearly remember that
yeah.
because I um I was just exploring the web, and then I stumbled upon the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then at this moment, like more personal reasons with money, I had problems with it, and also like I worried about it a lot, even though it wasn't my money. I was worrying about my parents' money. And at this point, I thought, why not read a book, about money, like what can it hurt? And then I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. A lot of the ideas of financial independence and investing, all, and being rich in a sense, and wealthy, all of these like ideas really resonated with me. So I remember that night I just hit up Johnny. He was in the hospital. I knew this at this point, but I was like, this guy has nothing to do, he just had surgery, and then you know, he's probably the only person who'd like also read this book, that I recommended. So I just recommended it to him. And then I didn't even think he'd read it or listen to it. And then like 4 days after, he told me he finished the book, and I was like still on the last chapter. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And now we're here making, a podcast on
Podcast films.
self-improvement.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I think it really went in a circle, honestly. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
how about you, Steve? Why'd you get into self-improvement?
I mean, I didn't get into self-improvement at any point, I never did. And I'm
We
still
just
not
told
into
you to join
self-improvement.
and then you just
But
joined.
but it's just I like reading, talking, I just like reading books and having conversations. So that's why I'm doing both. And I'm not like that interested in self improvement, but I'm not saying I don't like it. It's fine, but I'm just not like that interested. But it's still fine because I like having conversations, and if it's about some self improvement, I'm fine with
Not
it.
bad.
I'm good.
Maybe
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
maybe it's the aspect you might like from self-improvement is, the philosophy of it, maybe.
Yeah,
Because
philosophy,
sometimes we talk about the philosophical, things.
Mm,
Yeah.
Mhm.
And your
For sure,
interest
for sure.
is in philosophy.
yeah.
I think I think too much of like self-improvement and philosophy, especially philosophy, it just sort of ruins your mind in a sense. Like, every action you take, you think of, the broader picture and philosophy. And sometimes it's exhausting living that way, man. So
Mm,
Yeah,
I guess my advice to anyone with that problem, because I went through it, is just take it easy.
it's
The
yeah,
world's not ending.
it's so impractical.
maybe,
You know,
maybe.
the philosophies is like it's just theory. It's not theories, but it's just teachings. It's not
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
practical
exactly.
teaching, in my opinion.
Mm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I remember now what I was gonna say about Gerard's point. That's
Wow, it
Oh,
took you. It
you,
took
you
you about
finally remember your question now.
finally. It
yeah,
took you 37 years. Okay, great.
because you said don't give up, right? And
Huh.
I've thought about
No,
this.
it's this notion,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
personally think
Yeah, about that don't give up. I thought about this so many times before. It's been like a month maybe. I kept questioning myself. Don't give up. Okay. Then what is the difference? Like I feel like it's wise to know the difference between when to not give up and when to know and to know when to restart. You know, like the
Mm.
difference, like
Oh, okay.
When to
you
give
know,
up and not give up, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
when to give up
When
and
to
when
give
not
up,
give up.
when
Like
not to
when
give
it's
up.
more wise to give up and restart and try new things again, or and don't
Right.
give up and go till you win it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Dude, I think I've went through the same
Mm.
question multiple times. Like, if I draw a story of mine, one of the stories that perfectly fits this description is like eighth grade middle school basketball team. Uh, Up to that point, I had been super invested in basketball. I lived, breathed, and ate basketball, practiced every day, and then it all culminated in getting into the team. But at that point, to be quite honest, I sucked. Like I wasn't
So,
any
so
good at basketball. I was short as well.
big
Uh,
question: Are you good right now, or like
no,
do you
no,
still
no, no, no,
suck?
no, 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 no. Uh, Let me finish the story.
Okay,
And
okay.
I got cut from the team, and at that point, I cried like so much because I got cut, and then like all my dreams, were taken away. But like as soon as that was over, like I was like, no, I'm not cut out for this sport. Let me try something else. At that point, I gave up. But actually, I started playing tennis. I was better at tennis than I was at basketball. And
Mm.
then once COVID hit, I stopped playing tennis, and a new opportunity came up, which was for me weightlifting. And I started weightlifting a lot. And then now this has been my passion for, uh almost 2 years. So I think that you need to learn when to give up when you just know that it's not cut out for you. Maybe you
Mm.
lost interest in it, or you just don't see yourself anywhere in regards to it. And once you lose that spark, I think, and you tried hard enough, then I think that's where you want to give up.
Mm.
That might be a smart advice, but at the same time it's a very dangerous advice in my
Right, right.
opinion, because
I think, yeah.
like how should
Wait,
you
wait.
know if you have the chance or not? Like some people
I
might
just
think you
wanted
do
to
have the
add that
chance. Yeah.
it's like, don't take this advice to heart, man.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. As I was saying, you know, some people might think that you might have a chance of winning this, but you yourself might think that you don't have a chance and you might give up. And so,
Mm.
yeah, that's like a line where it's quite hard to know when to give up or not. Like some people might think you're thinking too optimistic, some people might think you're thinking too pessimistic. Like, what's the line there? And if you bring this to like a very serious topics, let's say suicide, as Ding said, you said it's better to give up when you tried everything in your hand, but then you can't do anything. And people who are suicidal might think like that. And
yeah.
if they took your advice seriously, if I it might become a tragedy. But yeah, that's something that is a hard question to answer, in my opinion.
Mm.
Yeah, like with suicide, if they if they try to justify it by if they try to justify dying because they did everything,
Yeah.
sort of giving up, then
Yeah.
that's wrong. But like in my case, the more light example is just like giving up in basketball, finding new
Yeah.
avenues. The thing
Mm,
with suicide is once you give up, you're never gonna get a second chance.
Yeah, that's it.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
you've hit rock bottom and there's no bottom after that. So I think that's a big difference as well. I think if you're really like unsure about it, the best advice I can give you is to ask advice from your friends, because if you seriously genuinely trust your friends or maybe your family even, and they give good advice, then ask them for advice, because a lot of topics in life are just, they can't be summarized by self-improvement books or these philosophies or these ways of living. You actually have to live it and experience it to make these decisions, and these are tough decisions. And sometimes you just have to ask around. You're not always going to be perfect with the answer, but
Yeah.
my
As
advice.
you said, there's that we learn these stuff as we live, right? And so I also thought about this before. Like, if we learn as we live, like these lessons, like why do we even read self-improvement books if we will naturally get into those things later on? And my answer for that was, so that we can lessen the the pain later on.
And
That's my
mm,
opinion. To lessen the pain, and we know what is going to happen and that it's normal, you know.
mm.
How about your answers? What would you say to someone who says like this? Like, why do you guys even read this? It's natural, you know. What would
Mhm.
you say?
You could start thing. I could
Okay,
think.
okay.
I could
I was
think of
waiting for you to start, but
yeah.
I wanted to start anyway. So
Yeah, okay.
I think that the main reason why I read self-improvement books, or maybe try to expedite this process, is because um yeah, you experience things in life, and you gain these you gain knowledge, but how do you know that that knowledge you gain from those experiences are, you know is the right way of thinking? Sometimes you might be in a really terrible environment and you experience bad stuff and you gain the wrong knowledge about it. That's still experience and that's still gaining knowledge, but
Yep.
some
Oh.
stuff, they still have their values to them. So that's number one. And number two, it's more of like a coping mechanism as well. Whenever I'm worried, or not feel like I'm not doing enough for myself, then I just read these books. Sometimes it's unhealthy, but that's one of the ways I cope.
Mm, okay.
How about you,
For
Steve?
me, I would say, oh yeah, just how things said, coping mechanism is, I think, the best explanation, I guess. Sometimes, you get worried, you don't know what you want to do with life. So you read a book about life, just
Yeah,
just
and
to,
it helps maybe.
Perfect.
yeah, and that's sometimes it's not just you. Sometimes you just don't want help in the first place. You just want the avoidance from the reality, I would
Mm,
say. So you
yeah.
go over to book and read books, I guess. That could be a reason.
That's a
Um,
very
Uh-huh.
good answer.
yeah,
Very good answer. Yeah.
I know.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I think it, how was the first episode of season 2?
To be honest, today's episode was much more enjoyable for me personally,
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
because the conversations just flowed easier. I think all of us, me, Johnny, and Steve, have improved drastically in podcasting, and Yeah, like me personally, I'm so excited to just record more episodes, like genuine.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Me
just
Yep.
too.
become fun for me. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
And
like the lessons
yep.
that we bring up, or like the, yeah, quote unquote lessons that we bring up in these type of episodes will be, it's gonna have more value in my opinion, rather
Yeah,
than,
yeah, yeah. Because they're
yeah,
more personal,
yeah.
Like I can tell however many stories I want,
And
No,
then
no, no. I'm
and then
not
we
gonna
might,
bore you guys,
you know.
but yeah, it's look. I think the future is really bright. As our name, implies, small eyes, big dreams. Have
Mm.
big dreams for the future, and right now, they're probably more possible than ever before, and we're all enjoying this process. So, please stay tuned with us, guys,
Mm.
and stay tuned for next episode as well.
Yep. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, see you, everyone.
Thanks
See
for
you guys
watching.
on next episode. See ya.